Ambassador David Fridman, hello.
Hi, Maytal. Great to be with you.
So tell me a little bit, we're here today to discuss in this really interesting conference about the Middle East issues. We saw people from the U.S. administration. Yet again, it seems like we cannot achieve any progress with with getting a hostage deal. Do you think America is pressuring enough Hamas to achieve some sort of a deal?
No. And I think that's been the problem from the beginning. You know, when you're trying to go through these very sensitive negotiations, you don't want to point fingers at different people, but the fingers are already pointing. You know, they're pointing at the prime minister, they're pointing at others. And look, first of all, this idea that there's a deal on the table that Israel's not taking or that Netanyahu's not taking is extraordinarily insulting and not true. And it creates a lot of friction inside of Israel, which makes things even harder, and it empowers Hamas, to hold back because they're winning this PR battle without any effort, right? So it's a terrible strategy. It really is a terrible strategy. Look, I can tell you that, and I'm not saying it's identical, but when we were in office, President Trump sent Mike Pompeo to North Korea, and he met with Chairman Kim, and he said to Chairman Kim, "My plane leaves in 2 hours. The president has directed me to tell you that when the plane leaves, he expects the 3 Americans you're holding hostage to be on that plane." That was it. Walked out of the room. 2 hours later, on the tarmac, these 3 Americans all of a sudden appeared. I mean, there is a way to project strength, especially when you're in the United States. We have all this power, military power, economic power, diplomatic power. I don't think America's done enough. I just don't think America's done enough. They continue to treat this as if it's a negotiation between 2 equal sides, Israel and Hamas. Okay, there's no such thing as Israel and Hamas, right? There's a democratically elected first world country, and there's a terrorist who lives underground and who abuses and tortures other human beings. That's not a negotiation.
Yet again, this government is calling for a ceasefire as if, we got our hostages back, as if we've beaten Hamas.
And look, I'm not smart enough to know what the right deal is or if there is a deal, but this idea that it's just a detail as to who gets released. We're talking about people who, once they're released, will certainly try to kill again, just like Sinwar did when he was released. I mean, it's not a minor issue, and they're treating it as if it's a minor detail, and I think this whole, what America has done, I think, a very poor job of exercising and exerting its leverage, right? I mean, remember, look, the parents of Hersh Goldberg Poland spoke at the DNC. I mean, everybody knows who they are. It's just, to me, mind-boggling that we could not have exerted more pressure to save him. Okay, again, I'm not there. I don't want to, there may be things I don't know, but I know from when I was in government, we have more leverage, we have more pressure that we could have exerted, and we didn't. And then to turn around and to blame Israel for not saying yes to a deal that doesn't exist, and that, it seems to be wide open with unanswered questions, I think is just a very cheap shot politically at a time when Israel's really fighting for its life.
Yeah. I have to ask you about the debate between President Trump and Kamala Harris. Israel and the U.S. are looking forward to see what will come up on that debate. Are you still in contact with President Trump?
A little bit. Not. We haven't talked about the debate. So
not the debate, maybe a future position.
So I think the president's style. I know this is true last time around, but I think it's a style is to win first, and then begin to talk about filling out positions. So I think he's spending all his efforts, and I'm glad. I encourage him to do that. Win the election. Okay, once you win the election, you have other decisions to make, but none of that's relevant if you don't win the election. So I think he's spending all his time doing that.
And what are your thoughts about the upcoming debate?
So, you'll have a man who's already been president of the United States. This is now his 3rd time running for president with the Republican nomination. Has, massive amount of experience and knowledge accumulated over the course of all these years. And then you have someone who just doesn't have the resume or the skill set, I hate to say, to lead the country. And I think that will come across. The press will usually focus on the sound bites, what looks like good theater. But at the end of the day, I think the overall, whatever those sound bites might be, the overall takeaway, I think, will be that one candidate is up to the job and one candidate is not.
Amazing. Well, we're all looking forward to see what will happen there. It will be one hell of a show, that's for sure.
Well, it's going to be 3 o'clock in the morning in Israel. You think people will stay up and watch it?
That people will stay up and watch it. Yeah.
All right, great.
Ambassador David Friedman, thank you so much.
Thank you, Midtal. Pleasure.